everybody? It's time for a ramble session from your favorite NBA Yap artist. Guys, I've been a quarter zip. I'm in vogue. I'm so hip with the time. If you guys like daily NBA content, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscribe. Getting closer to 10,000 subscribers. A little bit later in the day, but you know what? I went to the gym early this morning. I'm still drinking a coffee. I don't care. Let's take a sip. This, that, and espresso. Let's get into it. Today's kind of an interesting ramble session, so bear with me here, okay? I've been trying to, plan for my Europe trip that's coming up in 48 hours. I leave for Europe. If you guys want to see travel content, leave a heart. Leave a heart in the comments. And so I didn't get the chance to watch all the games I wanted to last night, but there's still some stuff I want to talk about, okay? Let's start here. The Mavericks lose to the Knicks, whatever, blah, 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 blah. The Mavericks are a god-awful basketball team. We've already known this, yada, 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 yada. D'Lo did have a good game last night. Obviously, a controversial ending, which in the moment I was pretty heated about, but as time's gone on, I don't know if the 2-minute report's come out. I mean, I'm sure it has. I didn't look at it, but I thought Landry Shamet probably bumped Brandon Williams on his drive to the basket, where Brandon Williams did hook Landry Shamet. It was an obvious hook, but I thought Shamet probably bumped him before, and that could have been called a foul instead. I guess not. I'm just seeing Jolly Hart. That's what we were calling him. Jolly Hart was the MVP of the game. That makes me want to blow my brains out. Just a kind of weird, ugly game. Like, the Knicks played such a terrible basketball game and still won. Signs of a good team. Signs of a terrible team. That you could have like a relatively pretty okay shooting game from three, especially early on, and not win this game is pretty hilarious. This Mavs team just sucks, man. They're absolutely brutal. But I don't want to talk about this team, really, or this game. What I want to talk about is the ESPN and just how god-awful their broadcasting company is, just how awful this game was. So first and foremost, I'm so irate. I am so frustrated and flustered right off the rip. Why the fuck's this game starting at 8:30 local time? Can we change that? I get it for like the playoffs and stuff like that, but there's enough West Coast teams in the league that you shouldn't be having teams playing 8:30 p.m. in their local time zone. I'm sorry. This is so grandpa of me, and I don't care. This is the stuff that pisses me off nowadays. And on top of that, what makes this more frustrating for me? Okay, an 8:30 local start time on a weeknight. Yeah, okay, cool. Right? It's not like we have lives or anything like that. I mean, it's not like we have lives and millions of friends and millions of people who care and love us, right, guys? But then the game, and I'm not trolling here, the game started 18 minutes past scheduled tip. The game started at 8:48, and it didn't end until 11:30. What in the flying fuck are we doing? What is this league all about? This is the stuff that really frustrates me. Because I don't understand it. I don't get what the league is doing. It's so stupid to me. It's just like, do you care at all about? Because I get it if it's like, hey, we're doing an 8:30 start time, local time. The Mavericks are playing the Warriors. So, we want to. It's like Mavericks versus Knicks. So this game ended at 11:30 local time in Dallas, 12:30 in New York. Who is this for? I don't understand this. Do you have the West Coast PP so far down your throat? I don't understand it at all. It makes no sense to me the way they do this. And it really pisses me off and it grinds my gears. Now, on top of that, this picture's not doing it justice. The camera quality on the ESPN broadcast is so terrible. They're still doing 780p in 2025. Dude, I can't get over how bad ESPN is. I can't for the life of me get it. And then they rolled this feature out last night. And I'm going to be real. I'll actually defend them. I think this is somewhat kind of cool. Now, yes, do I wish that they didn't have the me's from Wii? Do I wish they didn't have the Wii version of this? Yeah, sure, like a little bit cooler version. But I like the idea Amazon's doing stuff like this, NBC's doing stuff like this. Like, we're on the court and we get to see this kind of unique perspective. All right, that's kind of cool technology, right? Probably a little too late for ESPN, I would say, to get into stuff like this, but pretty cool. Yes, does it look fucking preposterous whenever they come out like this and Michael Malone has the Oculus Rift goggles on? Yeah, for sure. What's going on in there? We don't know. Would it surprise anybody if they came out and this was Michael Malone? No, it wouldn't. So it looks a little goofy whenever they're doing this. But yes, I don't understand. Always have had a gripe with ESPN and their horrible audio at the games, right? Not only is their mixing terrible, because they drown out the crowd because it's like, well, they want to hear Richard Jefferson and Legler, who I love. They want to like what the people watching the game, they don't care about the game. They want to hear Richard Jefferson and Legs have a back and forth. So make sure we cut the fan audio down because no one gives a shit about that. And then they're so scared of like a player being like, get that shit out of here. They dump audio so frequently, so the audio sounds so terrible. The camera quality's god awful. On top of that, whenever the game's on ABC, the audio is a solid second ahead of the game. So you're hearing the commentators say what's happening. You're hearing the fans react before you even see it on the screen. It blows my mind how terrible this broadcasting company is. It blows me away. It makes no sense at all. None. Maybe part of it is like the fact that they spend tens of millions of dollars on their talent, right? Then you have Stephen A. Smith saying stuff like this. Drake May is a liar. First Take is the number one morning show. Don't tell me you, an athlete, and you don't know that. Don't tell me you, an athlete, and you don't know that Cam Newton is on this show. You lying. Stephen A. Smith said this about Drake May. This is part of the problem right here that I've talked about. ESPN has shifted away from sports entirely. Obviously, not entirely. They're still the worldwide leader in sports, but they have gone a talent approach. They've taken a talent approach. People care more about Stephen A. Smith than they do the games. That's how they view it, right? I retweeted a tweet yesterday that was really funny. That was like, NBC and Amazon are like, guys, basketball is so cool. Like every broadcast from these two broadcasting partners is like a love affair with basketball, right? It's like a love letter to basketball. And then ESPN's like, yeah, remember Stephen A. Smith played solitaire during a finals game? You remember how funny that was? He's hilarious, right? Remember when Kendrick Perkins said, why take a painkiller when you could take a perk? Remember how funny that was? It's hilarious, right, guys? Who's playing tonight? We don't give a fuck. We don't care. Why should you care? Stephen A. Smith's on tomorrow morning. That's what you should care about instead. Yeah, it's a problem. And I don't care, like, the inside the NBA guys, they're funny, they're entertaining. I know what they are, right? They don't take themselves too seriously. It bothers me because it's like they're the biggest broadcasting partner. And I gotta watch their dog shit when my team plays on their fucking channel, and it's horrible. It's like, yeah, you guys don't come here to listen to me break down X's and O's and all this. You guys come here because for some reason you find me entertaining and funny. And I respect that, right? Like, I go to ESPN to watch the games. I don't go for anything else. I go to watch the games because that's where they are. And yet they do everything in their power to make that the worst experience imaginable. It is a shocking how horribly bad this network is. And beyond saving. I hate them. Anyways, the other game they had on their network last night, Houston versus Cleveland. This was a fun game. Cleveland's kind of in this weird funk. I mean, they're 10-6. It's not like horrible. But you watch them play, and Darius Garland is clearly incredibly important for them. But you watch them play, and it's just like, man, something's just missing with this team. I don't know what it is. Something is just not right with them. I think a lot of it's Mobley. Mobley's probably just who he is offensively. Like, we just need to scrap any Mobley's taking offensive leaps, and he's going to be a top 5 player, like top 10 player. Probably scrap any of that, right? I'll get back to that here in a second. Dude, the Rockets are good. They're good. I mean, they've got the best offense in the league, and they're shooting well from three. The thing is, though, is they're not a high volume 3-point team. Could they be somewhat similar as a 3-point shooting team to like the Thunder a year ago, where they're not taking a very high volume of threes, but they're hitting them consistently, and that's making them a very good offense, right? And I would say, yeah, well, some of these guys, they've got like 6 guys that are shooting over 40% from three or something like that. That's going to go down, obviously, but their offense isn't built around it to where it would concern me much. I don't know if they'll do it because I feel like they're going to kind of want to feel this out and see what the team looks like and stuff like that and let this group go into a playoff series. But the fact that you went out and got an older KD does point to me that you want to go for it. Dude, if they found a way to get a guard, they've got the contracts to trade, they've got picks, and they've got young players that they could trade. If they could go out and get a real legitimate guard, I actually think this team could compete with OKC. And they could do it right now. They could. But I think they could really compete with OKC if they were to make a move like that. I really do. Because they look good. And they've kind of mastered offensively this double big lineup. They rebound the fuck out the basketball. 40% of their misses, they get an offensive rebound. We already know that about them. But they've just sort of mastered this. We don't have a lot of shooters, but yet we make it work because we have a couple guys in our lineup like Şengün and KD who don't really need much space. We've kind of mastered the big passing, having an insane athlete like Amin Thompson in the dunker spot. Like we've kind of just figured out exactly what we need to do, and it works. But if they were to go get a guard, the Cavs, there's something about Mobley. And I've kind of noticed this across the league so far this year. There's a few teams I look at, like the Cavs have been a little bit wishy-washy. Mobley, to me, whenever I watch, doesn't look like he has the same defensive impact this year that he's had a year ago. It kind of goes back, I was talking about this with the Clippers, where it's like the Clippers were a very good defensive team last year. This year, they're not at all. They're a horrible defensive team. Now, they're very old. That probably has the most to do with it. But then you watch it, it's like Chris Dunn, I don't know. It looks like he's lost a step big time, and he was a big reason for their success a year ago, right? And it looks like he's just taken a step back as a defensive player. The Portland Trailblazers, who have been a feisty team so far this year, and I thought they'd be kind of a feisty team, but I thought it'd be on the back of a very good defense. Their defense has been terrible. Their defense has been awful, and I think a big reason for that, Toumani Camara has, like last year, all defensive player, all of this. Like Toumani Camara has not looked anywhere near that level defensively this year, and it's kind of has me wondering, right? Could this be something to do with it? Tim Cato tweeted this out yesterday, kind of amidst this like ongoing debate about player injuries. Player injuries are skyrocketing. What is the reasoning for this? Is it the schedule? Is it the back-to-backs? Like what could it possibly, is it the 65-game minimum? My stance on that is like, dude, we're a month into the season. Like, even if your goal is to shorten the schedule, okay, that way, I get it. If you shorten the schedule by 20 games or whatever, then you can space out the games. You're not playing back-to-backs and stuff like that. I understand that. But like, we're a month into the season and we're having all these injuries. I think it's clearly how the game's being played would be what I would pinpoint it on. How fast the game is, how much is required out of these guys on a nightly basis, to where, look at this. There's more closeouts in today's NBA than ever. More three-point closeouts in today's NBA than ever. Teams are rotating as much, if not more than ever. So a lot is asked out of these guys defensively every single night. And I wonder, some of these defensive-minded guys, if it just wears on you, and then when you lose a step or whatever the case is, since so much is being asked of you, if that just devastates you defensively. That's partially what I'm wondering. And I'd actually be interested to hear what you guys think about that in the comments down below, which I do read, by the way. Sometimes people say, hey, let me know in the comments. And they don't read, guys. They don't read the comments, and they don't care about you. Slightly cares about you. Okay? Always remember that. But it does have me kind of wondering that. And it's a big reason why I think this Houston team, they play incredibly slow. They've got the fewest amount of possessions in the league. Their offensive rebounding means that their possessions are longer, and a little bit less is being asked out of these guys. Okay. And I actually think, I don't think it's a coincidence why the Thunder just beat teams over the head over and over, because they've got the depth to play this way and not have to worry about it. Right. They've got the depth to play this fast-paced game of today's NBA. We'll throw out, we'll do a 10-man rotation. We'll rest this guy tonight, and it won't matter. We'll still have the defenders to make it work. Where most other teams don't have that luxury, right? Just something to think about. With some of these defensive players I've seen, that I'm just like, dude, he looks like a completely different player out there. You know what I mean? Denver and New Orleans don't really have much to say about this, other than we got to do a check-in real quick on our guy. Got to do a check-in on our guy, Derek Queen. He's been playing some very good basketball. 39-4 last night offensively. And he had a quote after the game where a reporter was basically like, did you think scoring would be this easy? And he was like, no, honestly, I did not think scoring would be this easy. There's always something. I feel like you could go back in time and look at anybody who's had that quote. I feel like it's usually a dog, right? I remember Luka having a very similar quote where he was like, yeah, I didn't know scoring would be so easy in the NBA with all the spacing and stuff. He's just, rarely do you see a rookie just come in complete and total control of the game the way that Derek Queen is, right? Great pace that he plays with, great patience, not like an uber athlete or anything like that. It's funny he's playing the Nuggets because Jokic is one of his comps. But yeah, he's just in control of the game and never gets sped up in a way that's very impressive for a rookie big like him. So we mocked the trade, all of that. You know, could they have done better? Sure. But if Derek Queen is this good, it'll be much more palatable for the New Orleans Pelicans, who, by the way, reportedly are potentially interested in doing a win now trade. This is being reported on. The Pelicans may consider a win now trade. D'Angelo Russell, welcome to New Orleans. D'Angelo Russell, welcome to New Orleans. That's what my takeaway is for that. People are clowning on this. I don't necessarily hate it if the trade's not bad, right? But realistically, what they should be doing is trading away some pieces. Like if a team out there wants Zion, cool, take them. If a team out there has been, NBA Twitter pilled to the point where they're like, hell yeah. Like there was a tweet going around. A Pacers fan was like, would you guys trade the number 1 overall pick for Trey Murphy? Like if teams are NBA Twitter pilled and would trade all of that for Trey Murphy, do it. Stop fucking around. Do it. Okay. Golden State and Miami. Golden State's kind of been struggling as of late. No Steph in this game. No Jimmy Butler in this game. So it is what it is, right? And by the way, the defensive stuff that I was mentioning earlier with how much is required out of some of these guys now defensively, it should be, more added appreciation for what Bam Adebayo does on a year-to-year basis, right? It should be just should allow us to appreciate more what he does. And I appreciate him. I love him. That's my guy. Hey, and if Wemby's going to not hit 65 games again, could this be Bamonte's year? Could it finally be Bamonte's year? Maybe. Just maybe. All I want to say right here, Brandon Podjimski Hater Club, stand up and stay standing and never sit down because this guy reeks. All right? He is terrible. There's a Twitter account out there that says they're not tweeting until Brandon Podjimski scores 30 points. They're never tweeting. They're never, ever tweeting. Okay? It reminded me of this right here from a year ago. The Warriors' final offer for Lauri Markkanen, Moses Moody, multiple first-round pick swaps, and second-rounders. Golden State refused to offer Brandon Podjimski. Stay standing, Hater Club. Stay fucking standing. Also, there's more Kuminga drama. This is the worst news. This is the worst storyline I can ever remember in the NBA, man. Just trade this guy, please. Like, have we had a longer trade saga than this? Just trade this dude. He's nowhere near good enough for this. Okay? One, I don't know who's in Kuminga's ear telling him he could be this, he could be that, he could be that. Like, fuck this Warriors team. Like, dude, just be a role player, bro. Okay? Go ask Cam Whitmore how this whole experience is going for him. Okay? Also, it's just like, oh, wait. My team's asking me to be a role player, and I'm just not doing it good enough, and now they're mad at me. Like, this whole saga has just been annoying as fuck. And on the Warriors side, it's like, this guy who we've wanted to trade now for 5 years is just still refusing to do what we want him to do. Just trade his ass. What is it, January something, he can be traded? Please, hurry up and trade him. We're all done with this experience, okay? Thank you.